become, certainly in the UK, I can't vouch for Europe and America, but I would probably say it's the same in those regions. But in the UK, it's definitely cultural that most of your friends and family in the age we live in go to university. What we're doing at the moment, we're saying one suit fits all.
That's right.
So everyone goes to university.
That's what I'm thinking.
That never used to be like that. In the past, when I was growing up, you had the university people, then you had the practical guys that will pop the hood and get underneath the hood of the car, and he's a mechanic. And then you had the guys that were out there on building sites, or the plumbers, the electricians, you know the sort of thing.
We have been trained to coast when it comes to the education
kind of
trajectory, right? So long as I picked a course, I will be okay. That's right. Yes. It's gonna be a good day. Let's get this show on the road, guys. It's all happening right now here on your breakfast show. It's a Pursuit of Success Tuesday, and we are looking at taking that next step to help us take that next step to help us achieve our definition of success. That's what we do on a Tuesday here. I'm your host, Robert Ashitey, robust presenter, and joining me in the studios, we have here the guru himself from My Money IQ. It's the one, it's the only, it's our brother here, the one and only Mr. Maurice. How we doing, my man?
I'm doing good. We've got the mics on.
Yes, it's good to have you. Now I heard, look, you're here in the UK, yeah?
Yeah.
We have viewers here who do not come, who are outside of the UK, all right? And they're like, yeah, it's hot in our country too. I mean, what are we experiencing here now? You just came through the morning to get here this morning.
Yeah.
What are we experiencing, dude? Come on.
Yeah, it's pretty hot. It's pretty hot out there. Yeah, it's like an oven, honestly.
It's hot in here.
Yeah, so I came in absolutely sweating. So I just said to you, I call the central line the central heating line. Yes, indeed.
Anyone agree with that? The central heating line. Those of you know, you know. It's like that, man. You don't want to be in an enclosed space right now.
Absolutely.
With the way things are going. But talking about enclosed spaces, right now, the UK, in a place that people come to, for opportunity, right? It seems like there's somewhat of a financial enclosure that could be happening right now in our midst right now here in the UK. And we're going to have a conversation with you today, Maurice. But before we do, I just want everyone who's not familiar with you, just have a bit of an idea of what you do and who you are, etc.
Sure, yeah. So my background is in IT, specifically IT in supporting traders on the trade floor at investment banks and financial trading houses. Over the years, I've started a platform called My Money IQ, which is to help people really educate themselves on all things.
I tried to do the logo.
I was wondering what you were doing there. A new form of sign language.
Because remember we did it last time. We almost locked it down. Remember the whole my
you invented
money.
You should know.
IQ. Yeah, something like that. Something like that. Yeah.
Money IQ.
Yeah, something like that.
That's the one.
Yeah.
That's it. You know it better than I do.
So and you've had years experience. You nowadays we have access to the financial markets via apps. But you were around when things used to be done by phone, right?
Yes,
and all that kind of stuff. So you've seen a lot of changes.
Aging myself. Yeah. Before the internet, the olden days where you had to send things by post and pick up the old dial telephones, and man, I sound ancient. Yeah. So you had to do it that way, and then as things progress, it got easier and easier, and more people were more empowered to gain the knowledge and take part, whereas before it was an enclosed shop. It was very much sort of almost like an elitist kind of subject matter, and people were intimidated in even approaching that subject. They thought that there's no way they could get their head around it. But like anything, once you pick up a small bit of information, and then you just you know, you keep the ball exactly. You know, you keep the ball rolling, sort of thing. Yeah, you pick it up. You surprise yourself actually.
And what's interesting about you is because you've been in this industry for so long, you've seen it's like life has a cycle. You know, there's like a cycle that things always come back. I mean, people will agree with fashion. It always goes around in a cycle. That's out of fashion. It's not fashion. True. So there are cycles even in the financial markets, in terms of the way the world progresses. And you're someone who keeps a very close eye on these things, right?
Indeed, yeah. But I mean, usually there's every few years you get every 4 to 5 years you usually get a downturn. People call it the boom bust cycle, where the market picks up, it rises, and then you get a lot of euphoria at the top, and lots of people get a little bit over exuberant, and then you get the frothy bubble. Right, you get these bubbles created, whether it's a credit crunch or right now it's the AI. People talking about AI. Back in the early 2000s, it was the .com. So you get these cycles, and then it goes pop, right? And then you sort of like start back from zero. But it's knowing where to position yourself and knowing what's coming that basically you avoid the anxiety and you avoid the panic. And you avoid the FOMO.
Okay.
Right?
Because when I think of you, I think of preparation. When I think of what you know, what you do, what you share with us, it's a lot to do with preparation. And, you know, as people of God, you know, even you see in biblical times, the people of God were existing, living in various political climates. They were living in various financial states, whether it was a straight out drought to abundance, you know, and Christians have believers in God have always had to navigate this, and this still hasn't changed until today, right?
Absolutely. And you know, you're talking about you know, the cycles and what people went through in the past, and you think of Joseph, and he knew something was coming. Obviously he had the foresight given to him by God, but you know, you said being prepared. Joseph was prepared, and because he was prepared, he was able to. He was a very intelligent guy anyway. He's very blessed, very very intelligent person. But he was able to impart that to the Pharaoh of Egypt and people, nations from all around the area, sort of like thing, will come to Egypt and benefit from the grain that he had stored. And fast forwarding that to today, you know, forewarned is forearmed, as they say. So if you can't absolutely predict things, but if you have a good idea of what's coming down the road, you can prepare yourself.
Yeah, love it. All right, and I know everybody here, especially our listeners, they have dreams of doing big things. You know, we come into a new year, we want to do this, that, and the other. So definitely, let's know the environment that's coming up. I think it's very, very, very important. That's why we're looking at the subject today. All right, we're looking at the subject today, and it's a very interesting subject that was triggered off. Which I mean, you know, most of us, we see a newspaper article, we're like, okay, that sounds pretty good. Yeah. But then afterwards, but then when you see a newspaper article, you're like, what is going on here? Like what these people? Okay, well, which one geographically? Okay, then this country's in place, and you know, you're like, yeah, we need to be okay. And then also, so this was it. This is what caused it. The 4K. If you let your children learn to trade, all right. That was the thing that sparked everything off, and it got you really. It piqued your attention. All right, my money IQ was onto the case on this. And just before the timeout, what we actually did is we actually gave everyone a morning coffee question. All right, we gave everyone a morning coffee question. All right, and we asked everyone this interesting question, which is linked to today's theme, which is this: we're checking if qualifications are still enough, right? Whether you're an adult, whether you're a young person, are qualifications still enough, you know, to progress, right? Nowadays. And we had this question here: what matters most in today's job market? All right, what matters most in today's job market? And it was quite interesting because we had a response here from Chanel, sorry, my mistake, from Jahan, saying answer B, because experience is important and valuable. So he says B, a qualification plus practical experience. So get qualified, but also get some experience on your belt, not just being qualified is not enough. Then we went into our breakfast show broadcast and we asked that question, and it was quite interesting. We had varied responses. We have here the highest answer was D. It depends on career and industry.
Yes, I would agree. Yep.
I think that's a really broad one. I think we should have taken that one off. You get people to be a bit more cutthroat. All right, then underneath that, in second place, that D was heavy, 60%. And then we had B and C tied with 33%, which is only when supported by practical experience, and skills and experience now matter more. And then we had A. No one said A. Yes, qualifications remain the main requirement. Everyone disagreed on that.
I disagreed.
Nobody.
Yeah.
So what is this saying to us then? Because we have people who are on that trajectory. They put all their eggs in that basket. I'm gonna go get my XYZ. That's it. They're not looking at anything else. Most likely, because this is what we've been. How can I say, brought up to
believe, and it's become, certainly in the UK, I can't vouch for Europe and America, but I would probably say it's the same in those regions. But in the UK, it's definitely cultural that most of your friends and family in the age we live in go to university. Now, what I think I was speaking to you the other day is how much thought goes into going to university, how much thought goes into the subject matter one is going to study, and also they have to be, I would say most people, the question is, are they being intentional in their approach to the subject matter, or are you just going to university for the experience, which in itself is not a bad thing. You go to, it's a great thing to be on campus, away from your parents, being independent, forming new friendships that could be a lifelong friendship, and that may even help you later on in life in your career.
That's
stuff
true.
like that. That is absolutely imperative.
But no one gets armed saying, no, I'm gonna go into university, I'm gonna connect with people that's gonna be on this next part of my journey. No one intentionally does that. No one is taught that. You know what I mean? Like, I'm gonna go into this field, this profession, and him and her, we could back each other up as we're moving forward. No, I grew up in South London, and when I got told to go uni, you go there and get your qualification. That was it. That was all that exists. That's all I needed to know. That's the mission right there. Go do your thing, and right. But if someone told me the people that are in that environment are gonna give you a leg up in whatever trajectory you want to be in, make sure you communicate, find the good ones and serious ones, and lock in with them.
Indeed.
I never would have thought about that.
That's really, really important. As I say again, I think a lot of people go into the whole university concept, and a lot of things are a bit of an afterthought in how they approach certain things. As I say, you have to be intentional. Just to give you a quick one, I do remember having this conversation with my nephew about 4 years ago, and saying to him, you have to be intentional. I remember standing in the kitchen just having a chat with him about it, and he followed. He followed my advice, and
wow.
I'll give him a thumbs up. Brandon Gabriel Brazier, I'll give him a big thumbs up. He's come along, and he's passed his university with first honors.
See,
he's won 2 awards.
Wow.
He's done extremely well.
Wow.
And he went into a subject of engineering, so he chose one of the STEM subjects: science, technology, engineering, medicine.
And how did that serve him?
Well, he got a job straight away, which was very, very impressive. He done very, very well. He got his head down that his university tutor sort of like asked him to come back and help with the students next year.
Oh wow.
So he done extremely well, and I'm glad that conversation I had with him really resonated. I wasn't sure at first whether he was actually taking everything on board, but obviously he did.
Lo and behold.
I felt very proud. I went along to the graduation ceremony, and he really did exceed my expectations and everyone else that had attended, right?
Yeah.
But just saying, being intentional. The STEM subjects are always going to position you in a very, very favorable position.
So when you say STEM subjects, what do you mean by STEM subjects?
So science, technology, engineering, medicine. So you're going into technology, coding, computer analyst, computer project analyst, that sort of stuff. You're going into the sciences, in labs, that sort of stuff. You're going into engineering. He's going to be structural surveyor, engineer. There's many areas in engineering, like IT and medicine, you can go into. And then there's medicine, right? So do you want to be a GP? Do you want to be a pediatrician? Do you want to be a heart surgeon? Right? These are things that make society function. These are things that make society work.
Got it.
Now, if you want to go into the arts, if you want to be a musician, if you want to be a footballer or a coach or something like this, you can go into these fields, but understand that it's going to be more of a challenge, and you really are going to have a roadmap, a very structured roadmap, and probably a very good mentor, because you're going into an area that, quite frankly, not many people go into and succeed. Oh
wow, that's tough.
So yes.
Okay, wow, that's interesting. That's tough to hear. Okay, so if we're going to be asking this question, so nobody believes that nowadays, and I think this kind of segues us into this next part, because like we're having this conversation. There are people, individuals who are in the education system right now. I remember last time we spoke, I think, was I with you or Miss Effie? I'm not too sure, but I spoke about how I was in McDonald's. Don't judge me. It
happened every now and again.
That's right. And what happened? I was in McDonald's in Peckham, so I was like, let me go get myself a milkshake, right? And there was this lady who was, we was waiting in the queue, and they were taking ages. I was like, what? Yeah, you shouldn't have done that. You don't know what customer is there waiting. Anyway, so and she's like, oh, you know what? If I knew, I just would have just done X, Y, Z, because they'd taken so long, right? And I was like, man, if I knew, I would have just jumped on the bus. I wanted to, and the guy said to me, oh, fast food? What's fast food? Like, this is meant to be fast food, but it's not food. It's not healthy. It's not food, and it's not fast anymore.
I had the same conversation the other day, It's not food and it's not fast.
It's like, and I'm like, what are we doing? Right? And we're paying for it. Anyway, so, and then the mom was like this. She goes, it's quite interesting. The one in Old Kent Road is better, blah, 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 fast. I was like, yeah. She goes, my nephew, he just graduated, and he's an engineer, he's a qualified engineer, but he's working in McDonald's. And I was like, oh really? Because and guess what? Not just in McDonald's here in London, he's in Birmingham. He had to go out for a job in McDonald's in Birmingham. Wow. So that says a lot about the job market.
Hold on, let me get this straight. He's traveling to work for McDonald's in Birmingham. Wow. Okay.
So he has drive, right? He has drive to do something, right?
Right.
So that means he couldn't. Well, she was saying he couldn't get the job here.
Right.
So he's traveled to Birmingham.
Okay.
But he's a qualified engineer.
Interesting.
So this says a lot. This echoes a lot about the subject matter that we're talking about today.
Yeah.
Because we have lots of young people, we have lots of adults. Maybe they probably want to pivot in their industry, but then they're probably not, like Jesus said, counting the cost of where they're pivoting to. There are lots of jobs, like you gave us this wonderful article which says a lot about the 4K paying 4K for your children to learn a trade.
Yes.
I mean, bro, what is that telling us?
Yeah, I saw. So I think I was on my way to see you last week, and I just happened to come across someone had left the metro on a train on the seat, and I saw Andy Burnham deploying this new initiative for low-income families to help them with 4K. Was it 4K? 4K. For their children to go into the trades, basically, and study an apprenticeship, which I think is a very smart move in the present climate. I mean, the economy isn't at its best at the moment. The job market isn't absolutely great. I think it's probably the worst market at the moment for graduates since the pandemic. So I don't want to rain on anyone's parade. I don't want to be a naysayer or anything, but I'm just laying out the reality of things are playing out at the moment. So I think that is telling us a lot right now. Why is Andy Burnham doing that? Because he knows that there is an oversupply of graduates in the market, and if people like you, what you just said to me, I'm sorry, I was so shocked that I was trying to process that in my head, that a young person is now traveling from London to Birmingham to work in McDonald's, and he's got a degree in engineering. What's going on there? What's so okay, I was completely shocked to hear that story. I'm so sorry that he's having to do that. But yeah, this is the market we're in at the moment. Do we have to revisit how young people are looking at their future? Is a degree for every single person? Maybe yes, maybe not. We are all talented in different areas. Some people are very, very good with their hands and not so good with academia. Some people are brilliant at academia, and the opposite is true, not too good with their hand. So we need to what we're doing at the moment, we're saying one suit fits all.
That's right.
So everyone goes to university.
That's what I'm thinking. That's what
and
I'm
that
sensing.
never used to be like that. In the past, when I was growing up, you had the university people, then you had the practical guys that will pop the hood and get underneath the hood of the car, and he's a mechanic. And then you had the guys that were out there on building sites, or the plumbers, the electricians, you know the sort of thing. You had the tech guys like me and my brother David. We both went into IT, right? So you had different groups of people that were probably predispositioned. Their brain is predispositioned to do that particular task, but we're forcing everyone down one lane. We're
saying this is best. Do that.
And that can't. It's almost like forcing everyone to be plumbers. No, not everyone's going to be a plumber.
There's this picture. There's this picture that we had before. We used on the breakfast show, where we had like it was in the jungle, right? It's black and white, and you had like an ostrich, you had a monkey, you had a goldfish in a goldfish bowl, you had an elephant, and all this kind of stuff. And their teachers saying to them, "Look, all right, if you don't get to the top of this tree, you failed." So guess who's gonna win? It's gonna be the monkey, right? Because he's designed. He's predispositioned for that. All right, but so, and everyone else will probably try and make their way, but probably not be as efficient or effective. So it seems like this is what has been happening, and from what I've seen as well is that technology is developed. So we have loads more different options, but it seems like we've got these blinkers on.
That's exactly
just looking only in one place when it comes to our life trajectory.
We definitely, you said it perfectly, we've definitely got the blinkers on, and it's almost as though we're not even considering other avenues. And I think what Andy Burnham's done is really, really, really important for two reasons. I think I heard something, it was online the other day. There was a tradesman, and he was saying he's coming up for retirement. And all of his colleagues and friends in his industry, a lot of them are coming up for retirement. So a lot of the tradesmen, as I say, the plumbers, the electricians, the roofers, painter, decorate, those guys. And he said not many young people are coming into those trades. So in the next 6, 7, 8, maybe decade or so, there is going to be a dearth of people that are not in those trades. So what are we going to do? Does that mean to hire someone to fix your roof, you're going to be paying over the odds because there's not that many people? I don't know. I'm guessing here. I'm hypothesizing here. It could be someone coming to fix your boiler. You may have to pay over the odds because not that many people do it anymore, because everyone has gone to university to study X, Y, and Z. Now, say the stem cells are the STEM subjects are very, very important. But the subjects outside of that, I think people need to be really, really think it through and be. When very you say
subjects outside of that, what do you mean?
So I know someone that studied journalism, journalism and tourism. And the young lady that studied tourism.
Get my head around. Sorry.
No, it's fine.
No, I just no, because all my friends started doing that.
Yeah,
they were like, "Oh yeah, let me think of a car." Yeah, you know what? You can do your like 2 years or whatever in travel and tourism. Like, do you want to be a journalist? Do you want to be a travel agent? No. Yeah, just a fun. Let's say you could just get out of the way.
Maybe it's fun. Yeah, look, I'm not trying to rain on anyone's parade that's studying that. What I'm saying, I'm not saying don't study those subjects. What I'm saying is those subjects tend to be less in demand, and if you do study them, be very intentional about the path you're taking and have a roadmap to how you're going to get from university to your internship to a career in that subject. Like literally write down a roadmap on how you're going to get from plan A to plan B to plan C. I think most people have got like a nebula kind of, I think I'm going to go over here, I'm going to study this, and we'll cross that bridge when we come to it, which that can leave them in a very unfavorable position if they haven't thought it all the way through.
Okay, so here's my question to you. All right, so we're talking about the traditional pathway. Let me go get a qualification, etc., etc. So is the degree becoming less valuable, or has the route from education into employment just become harder?
Probably a bit of both. Probably right now. I think I sent you a screenshot last night, right? So UK Financial Times, UK graduate job openings fall to its lowest level since the pandemic. That was in the Financial Times, and that was literally after I had the conversation with you yesterday, telephone conversation yesterday. That popped into my LinkedIn feed. You know, as serendipity would have it, right? So right now it's the lowest level since the pandemic. So it's not it's a very competitive market. Not a great time for graduates right now. So you really have to be on your A game right now. Probably a few years ago, just after the pandemic, when things were beginning to pick up and money was coming into the system, a lot of funding was coming in, you would have had an easier time. But whether it's good times or easy times, irrespective of the times you're in, you have absolutely really have to sit down and think about how you're going to get from university to developing your career.
So, you know, I think we have been trained to coast when it comes to the education
kind of
trajectory, right? So long as I've picked a course, I will be okay. But what you're saying to us now is, in this current environment, be very intentional. And maybe there's a group of people, there's certain types of people who are very, you know, intentional, or their parents have been very intentional, or maybe culturally very intentional. You're going to do this, you're going to do that, and then that's another conversation about what the person is, right? Because you know, when I say this, that, and the other, if you're of African descent like myself, and your parents are, you know, well, you know, their thoughts in the right place, they're going to tell you to be a doctor, solicitor, and all the rest of it. So the idea is that my eggs are in this basket of the education system. Not to bash the education system, it has its place, it has its point, but we're talking about this current day and age and having options. It's like, okay, so long as I do this, I will coast into victory. What you're saying now, you're winding it back and you're saying, no, in this day and age, you must be intentional. Take it upon yourself to make your roadmap.
Literally write it down.
Literally write it down.
Write down. I think Brian Tracy said, if you write things down, you're 80% more likely to achieve them. There's something about, I don't know, the psychology of just having that down. You literally writing that down in black and white into your goal diary, let's say, right?
I believe in that totally.
Yeah, totally absolutely, 100%.
Until you write it down, doesn't exist.
Habakkuk 2:2.
Yeah.
You know, but yeah. So I think what a lot of people are doing. Oh, my brother went to university, so I go, or my cousin went, or the guy down the road. You know, my next door neighbor went. So you're just like going with the flow, and you know, you're meandering down the stream and just letting it take you along without actually thinking about, oh, where am I going? Where am I going to end up? You know, you're just floating down the stream like a leaf on a on a lake, just sort of like floating along. So and people are just look, oh, he done it, so I'll do it, or she done it, so I'll do this. Well, did you want to go into that subject? Did you choose it, or were you kind of coaxed into that? Or some parents, bless them, they will tell their child to go into a certain subject, and maybe it's not really maybe they're not predispositioned for that. Just look at the options on the table. What is your child naturally good at? You know, and like, as I say, you can get into a position where you're coasting along. You've gone into I know people that have studied journalism. I've worked at an investment bank with someone that studied journalism, and she was having a bit of a moan because she had a 40 grand in debt, right? But she was a PA, and I've said to myself,
so where did the 40 grand debt come from?
University fees. Yeah.
So there's that it's not like back in the day, like when I was going uni,
right?
It's different now.
You
right
come
now
out with like 9 grand, you know, to pay back, sort of thing.
So that's more to consider,
right? And I was saying to myself, but you're a PA, you're a person. Why? So I didn't say it to her, but in my head I was thinking, shouldn't you be working for the Guardian? Shouldn't you be working for the Times, or you know, one of the broadsheets or something like that? So that just became really stuck in my mind, that she had done this degree. She was having a bit of a moan. She was kind of like having a bit of a moan to me about her situation. She's working really hard. She's 40 grand in debt, and she hadn't even gone into her chosen field. Yeah, which I think is probably one of the most unfortunate situations to be in debt, than to be in a field that you didn't even study for. Yeah. And now she's not getting those 4 years back. That's gone. Right. You know, as I said to you last night, you know, 40 grand in debt, thereabouts, and you're not getting those 4 years back. So, and you're in a field that you didn't even study for.
So that means that if I didn't do those, if I didn't get into debt, I would have literally just been here anyway.
Right. So were there programs available to her? I mean, she could have just done something else, done a course, a shorter course, maybe a diploma of some sort, and got that same PA role without that being shackled. Yeah.
We've got a comment here from Elias. Elias says, "Hi BFS, good morning. I am a qualified car mechanic in Scotland. Recently, there is still a lot demanding in trade." There it is. You said it.
There you go. So I bumped into one of my good friends, Robert, last week. Your namesake, and I've known him. Absolutely, Robert De Niro, all the Roberts of the world. Yeah, and he's into a university degree, and he's been working. He got a fantastic job with Mercedes.
Oh wow, nice.
He settled down. He's married now, a couple of kids, and he's been with Mercedes for coming up to 10 years now. Okay. So shout out to Robert if you're there, if you can hear me. If you're listening to the show, well done, Robert. But yeah, he's got an amazing job working for Mercedes, and he's done very well.
Beautiful.
And he seems to be flourishing. So what I'm saying to people is, a degree does have this connotation to it where there is a status side to a degree. Yeah. Right. So if you have a degree, there's you know, you appear to have more status, as opposed to having a trade. You're not looked upon with that same status, and that is very much a UK thing. Okay. I would probably say the same in Europe and the US. I don't know, I've never lived there, but I can certainly say in the UK that is very much a status thing. And also every parent wants to, you know, present their child and say, oh, you know, little Johnny, you know, he's got first. I understand that, I get that, but not at the expense of their future, not at the expense of the stability in their career.
All right, I've got something here for you that I want to. I've actually got a clip here that I want to share with everyone, actually, to kind of like bring home what we're talking about today. And it's not all doom and gloom, guys. Okay, this is just kind of looking at the environment that we're in, right? Because then if you know the environment you're in, then you can actually make the next call to take the next step, to make the next move. I've got this clip here. This is from LBC. All right, a little clip here, and they're talking about what we're actually discussing this morning. All right, so I want everyone to have a good look at this. All right, check this out. Here we go. 3, 2, 1, fire.
Every job you apply for says no, because there are 140 applicants per graduate job now. You're lucky if you even get an email to acknowledge that you've applied, let alone to say no, the fact of saying no is borne out by not receiving an email back from the people you applied to 4 months ago. There are fewer graduate jobs to apply for. In fact, employers would seemingly rather you didn't have a degree, is the truth. And the truth will be through, I guess, through your own experience. If you are someone that went to university, applied for jobs, can't find a job, and now you're back home living with mum and dad, isn't the truth that the work hard at school, go to uni, get on a grad scheme thing is sort of over? It belongs actually to a different generation. The generation for whom only perhaps 7% went to university, or maybe a bit more. That's gone. So can university really said to still be worth it?
All right, this is from the Gen NZ Club. And this is exactly what you are echoing right now, right?
Yeah, absolutely. And I think it definitely is still worth going to university. In answer to his question, it'd have been interesting. I didn't actually see that show. I'll have to catch that online. Yes, the answer, my personal opinion is yes. As long as, I'm sorry to sound like a broken record, as long as you are thinking the path of your career through, as long as you're being very intentional, and as I say, you have a roadmap, and the only reason I'm saying that is because things have become more competitive. The environment has become much more competitive than when we were young, right? So when we were that age, you can get away with it. Back then you can go to a degree, you can get it sort of like a 1-2 and get away with it. My nephew got a 1-1, right? And that's what you're gonna have to do. You're gonna have to get the first, right? And you're gonna have to be very intentional about your internship, which is what he done. So he done what he was supposed to do. So if you're doing that, chances are you'll be fine. If you're not doing those things, you might struggle.
All right. Amidst all of these things happening, right? Undergraduate opportunities, all right? Because I know you look at things from a very global perspective. Why are employers reducing some graduate and entry-level opportunities? Why do you think that's actually happening?
From what I can see is, from what I've mentioned before, so the market has become much more competitive. There's probably a few factors happening right now. So the market has become more competitive.
So we have too many graduates.
So there's
too many qualified people, maybe.
There's an abundance of of graduates, right? Also people are looking at the companies are looking at expenses, right? So the economy right now isn't great. So the biggest overhead for any company is salaries. Right. So companies going to look at, who they're hiring, how they're hiring, and they're going to be a lot more stringent on, letting people through the door. And then you have the AI factor. AI is I think is doubling in efficiency every 6 months or so. I don't know. You could probably second that. I don't know. But this is the worst AI is ever going to be. It's only going to get better from here on in, and at the moment an AI LLM can do the job of a entry-level law graduate, right, in terms of research or whatever, and it's only going to get better from here on in. So why would a company go to the lengths of hiring a graduate to do XYZ when it can get AI to do it? Now AI has its problems. Exactly. Every company is going to look at overheads, right? It's not just profits. It's you're making a profit, but also you're keeping your overheads obviously in check, sort of thing. So
it's funny you should mention that because, like, in this changing world that we're in, we actually asked our breakfast show faithfuls a question in our breakfast show broadcast earlier today, and we asked them the question: what gives people the strongest edge? And this is just our listeners' thoughts to see what they had to say about it. So we asked the question: if you had to choose one, what gives someone the best chance of getting ahead today? So A, qualifications; B, practical experience; C, AI skills and adaptability; D, a strong mix of all three, which I think is a cop out. response. But then afterwards we found out majority, 56%, nobody said recognized qualification. Everybody's like, qualification is literally getting treading upon by our listeners anyway. But then B, practical experience was leading the way.
Yeah,
practical experience. C, then it was C, 31% was AI and industry specific skills. All right. So this is interesting, because you would have thought, like, now if everyone's caught up in the wind of AI, that there would majority did say practical experience instead of AI. So AI was second. And then D, professional contacts and networking, 31%.
Yes. Yeah.
That is interesting.
Yeah.
I think there was also a comment here. Let me just before you fire. This one was from Shazad. He says, "This again is how we now tackle jobs and work smarter, not harder." Okay, that was his comment to that. And Samuel says, B, even with the right qualifications, employers will still want to see your experience or the value you can bring to your organization.
Yes.
So that was that was our guy. That was Samuel in Sierra Leone.
Yeah, real world experience. You're going to need that. As I said, we have in the UK now an abundance of graduates, and when you have an abundance of something, what happens to the value of that thing? Right? If I've got a stall selling apples, and then I rock up to an area and everyone else on that road, there's 10 other traders, I'm going to have to lower my price in order to stay competitive in that market, right? Selling my apples, right? So we have an abundance of graduate degrees. So what people are going to have to get excellent grades. That's really going to separate. Really? Oh yeah. You can't. I as I say, I think back in our day, you can get away with a 1-2, right? Maybe 2-2 sort of thing. And again, I'm not raining on anyone's parade. I'm just laying out the reality of the current environment. You are going to have to reach high, and you're going to have to go for excellence. You're going to have to be the best of the best in this market. I think I saw an article the other day. I told you 1 in 10 are succeeding in getting a job in terms of graduates. 1 in 10.
We actually have that here. We had some of those statistics here.
Did I send that to you? I can't remember.
So we got here. So we got the results here. So 10 to 13 of recent graduates are unemployed and actively seeking work. Roughly 1 in 8 recent graduates are struggling to secure work. 2026 is one of the toughest graduate job markets since the pandemic.
Right.
Competition for entry-level roles is much higher than a few years ago. So the challenge is less about lack of graduates and more about fewer entry-level positions and tougher competition. Wow.
And also, how I tell you something as well that isn't usually spoken of, is how does one perform in their internship. So internships are really important, whether it's 6 months, 12 months, some go on for a little bit longer. In my last role, we had a couple of interns, and they were brilliant. They were so good. It was a young lad, young lady came in, and they were very, very focused. And I actually enjoyed coaching them. It was a very enjoyable experience.
Well, that sounds good.
And I actually said to them, you know what, you guys, you're going to do just great, because you are doing everything you're supposed to be doing. You're very engaged. You turn out well presented. You speak well. You're focused, and you're really, really going above and beyond. And I said to both of them, honestly, guys, you do just great. I said, this period that you're in right now, this is what, depending upon how you approach it, this is what will set you up for your future career. So your internship is some people don't get asked back after an internship. So you got to ask, well, why? What was the difference between that candidate and the other candidate? My nephew got invited back. There was a young lad that was with him. He didn't get invited back. Why? I don't know. Right. But this is another thing that we miss sometimes. They get the degree, but then in the real world, how are you performing? How are you approaching your role? and how you perform, because companies will invite you back. They will, if they like how you performed,
it's
they
true.
will invite you back.
They invested some time with you, isn't it?
Correct.
So why not?
Correct.
If we see potential.
Yeah.
But wow, this is interesting. Okay, so look, this is one for the adults now. All right. So, you know, changing landscape, qualifications, entry-level positions, you know, they're not in abundance as they used to be in certain fields. But for example, if I was an adult and I had like qualifications from several years ago, you know, this current environment, how would it affect them?
It depends on the age range, I would say. There is ageism. Ageism is a real thing, but it does. It depends. You in your 30s, 40s, 50s. It depends on where you're at. If someone is out of work, or they're struggling to reinvent themselves and move on. There are courses, there are online courses, there are platforms like Udemy, I don't know if I pronounced that right. Udemy, there's LinkedIn Learning, there's another one I can't think of at the moment, but there are avenues one can go down. There are certifications, you get certified in your desired subject. If you already have a degree and you have real world experience, jumping online and getting certified and in a particular subject is one way forward. The other avenue is networking. Keep your network. I think we spoke about this before, right? Keep your network strong. People, again, it's human nature. People tend to coast. You have a 9 to 5. It's easy. Week in, week out, day in, day out. You just coast along year after year after year, and your network starts to atrophy, and your skills to network and your ability to be a little bit more dynamic, it starts to atrophy. It's like anything. You're not lifting weights. Okay. It's the same sort of scenario, sir.
All right, because this is good, because this is a big part to what you're going to be sharing with us in order to kind of change the situation that we're in, right? Because a lot of people think they can just be an introvert, right? They can just not communicate, coast, right? That whole idea of like those wildlife cartoons. I like wildlife programs where you've got the bird that wants to attract the other bird, and you see him doing like he's dancing, he's flacking, he's pretty, right? And David Attenborough, I love those programs. But you can see that even in nature, to call attention, there's that effort. Like here I am. This is what I want to do. And it seems like when people have a time period where they can set themselves up to be called, to call attention, it's like, it's like I have the right to be here. Like for example, like an internship, the person will just do an internship anyhow. This adult or whichever, or whatever stage they are in their life, sometimes we're still thinking like, things are like how it used to be, right? So we need to really try our best. From what you're saying to me today, is that to be that bird, who's doing that dance, obviously respecting yourself, but like to be very intentional, to be like, okay,
you have to be visible,
make yourself visible. Communication, networking, talking. It's not what I like. I'm not a talking person. My friend, you want to work, right? You want to feed yourself. You want to go to
when
shop.
You go to an interview, you're going to have to communicate.
You're going to have to communicate.
People don't want to hire robots. They want to see if is there a person behind it, or is it scripted? Did you jump onto Google the night before, right, and just learn the answers and then just walk in and start reeling off a script? Or is there an actual real person behind there that can do this role? There are some roles where there is a lower level of communication needed, where if you're just a coder and you're sat in a corner and you're just banging out code all day, right? That
we'll take him. The code good.
There are roles for that. Or I don't know, those guys in the lab, messing around with I don't know what these guys do in the lab, sort of thing. But that's what they're doing. There's very little human interaction and human communication needed. But even in those roles, at some stage, you're going to need to communicate. You are going to need to communicate. But what you're saying is absolutely right. I think you're so right. I think as I said before, the environment is more competitive. Therefore, whether you're a graduate or an older person, you're going to have to be a little bit more dynamic in how you interact and building a professional profile online, whether it's LinkedIn or whether it's your own website or whatever. You're just going to have to be you need to separate yourself from from the masses.
Yeah, you know, when I see the Breakfast Show faithfuls, right, I see some of them like, if I'm building a global empire to take over the planet, I want you in my team. Why? Because you see the person, you see the essence of the person.
That is very true.
And it just is what it is. So what would you say? So these are some of the things I got from you that what employers want now. Yes, if you could just touch on that. Yeah, so like we've got practical experience, which we you hammered on, AI literacy and digital confidence. All right, so that's a big part depending on what field you're in. Right.
Yep.
Communication and teamwork. I think that's a huge one. That's what you're talking about now.
That's huge.
I think.
Yeah. Keep going. Is that it?
No, we got adaptability and problem solving. I think a thing about this generation is that lacks of being able to problem solve and think. I've seen that with a lot of the younger ones. I don't know, I remember growing up in the playground, and because you're building a climbing frame, you had to problem solve and think. But I don't know, and not to downplay this generation, but I think we got so caught up in virtual worlds, etc., that problem solving element, maybe some employers have been like, and then we got industry awareness, networking and initiative. So degrees still matter in a field, but employees increasingly look for capability, not just certificates.
Correct.
Right?
Yes, very, 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 very true. And what you were saying about problem solving, that's quite an interesting one, because I saw a report, I think it was last night, to say the amount of time that young children, toddlers to young children, are spending with their iPads and iPhone. They carried out research in America, and they found that they were actually suffering brain damage. They've done a brain scan of a young girl while she was using her iPad, and they could see certain parts of the brain lighting up and the other parts of the brain not lighting up. And there is quite a wide study. I can't remember the actual numbers, but I'll bring it next time. But it's now they're now discovering that it's actually changing the pattern of the brain and changing how they think and their ability to navigate certain things in the world, which is quite interesting.
I've got another video.
Yeah, go for it.
Right, to touch on what you've been sharing with us today, and this is from the introvert recruiter underscore. All right, and guys, and I'm showing this video, everyone, simply because we're usually so caught up with everyday life, doing stuff, or maybe you're feeling the impacts of this discussion today, like in your real world scenario, but you're just seeing it as it's just you, but what Maurice is bringing us today is that it's something a lot broader. It's a lot broadening. There's so many factors in play, and this gentleman here is going to kind of narrow it down for you and hit you at the pain spot most probably. Check this out. Un momento, por favor. Yes.
You went to university, you got good grades, you got your degree, but now you can't even get a job outside of your career path, let alone a job in the one that you actually studied for. And that's because the market changed. Companies stopped hiring junior or graduate talent. A few years ago, a hiring manager might have had a budget for a team size of 10. So they'd balance it out with, say, 8 experienced people and then 2 grads or junior roles. But their budgets got slashed. So now they can only really afford a team of 8. But the workload required of that team of 8 didn't change. If anything, it increased. So when forced to choose, the graduate roles are the first ones to go, because grads need training. They're not immediately as productive as the more experienced
exactly
people.
What you're talking about.
Yeah.
And when managers are under pressure to deliver now, they default to experience. And that's why you see entry-level roles requiring 2 or 3 years experience. Correct. You're not doing anything wrong. The market has changed, and it's brutal, and it's working against you.
Hey, 5 out of light. All right, so let's. It's not all over. All right, because the government is trying to make apprenticeships financially possible for more families. But does that represent a change in the status of vocational education, or simply the removal of a benefits penalty? So all these things that are happening, these changes, is showing that there is a need in the marketplace. We have had these little clips here. So school leavers and students before degree, apprenticeship or trade, graduates. So everyone has been affected at different roads. How do you stand out in a crowded market? Adults and career changes. Do you need to retrain, upskill, or reposition? Parents and employers. What route actually prepares people for the real work? All right, so there's all these kind of things to consider. All right, even using AI, etc., etc., etc. So there's all these things. So I want to hear from you. What could we do? We see the initiatives from the government situation. What kind of things can people arm themselves with? What position should people take? Maurice, please share with us your thoughts.
Yeah, I mean, as I say, they say sometimes it's not what you know, it's who you know.
Yeah.
And you are only going to get to know the right people or the right group if you're being proactive in doing that. So whether you're a graduate or whether you're slightly further along in your career, do you go to networking events? You can, I think it's Eventbrite. Have you heard of Eventbrite?
Yep.
It's a platform you can sign up to, and they have networking initiatives spanning many different type of business sectors, right? So you can go on there and you can sign up, you can go along and have an actual in-person, get involved in a networking event and meet people face to face. The generation now, everything is virtualized. Sometimes you've got to get off your iPad, you've got to get off your laptop and your iPhone and stand in front of a real person, show your personality, have a conversation, exchange business cards if you got one, exchange telephone numbers, and be memorable, right? And actually show to people what your value, and vice versa. They show you their value and what they're about. So there's that. As I said before, there are online courses that one can take, right?
Especially as the technological environment's shifting. Of course, there's opportunity right there, right now.
There is. Being an AI prompt analyst, for instance, that's a big thing. I mean, both you and I, mess around with AI and try and figure out what the latest and greatest developments are, sort of stuff. So do stuff like that.
Something before what you said about networking. So networking now is no longer just for business people, right? Because usually we associate it with business people, but now it's like, even I'm an employee, I'm gonna go and network. I need to, like you said, get up and go and do something, interact. Because there was a time when you would go to a shop and bring in a CV. And I remember that time I would bring myself, man. I would speak, I would liaise, I'd be like, no, I'm here to see the manager. Then came the war of the internet, and it's like, okay, send it by, these websites or whichever, depending on the field, whichever. So what we're saying is now, because everything's online, you can actually use the online environment.
Go back to kind of got to go back to the old days, if I can say that, right?
Because that's when you sell yourself, man. Because I got upset. I got upset when people are telling me, "Oh no, you can't see the manager. You have to give a CV." It's like, what? No, I want to come there to where you are.
Yeah. In the old days, you go into a shop and say, "Oh, can I see them?" Oh, just go online to our head office.
Yeah.
Like, really?
Yeah.
It's so impersonal. It's so robotic. It's so removed from the human experience.
Yeah.
Right. But if you go into an independent shop, it's different, and they can see, like, this guy. He's rocked up. He's come here. He's well dressed. He's well presented. He or she, and they're obviously very, very ambitious, and they can see that. They can see something that you cannot see on a laptop screen,
or in a qualification,
like on a certification, or degree. Right. So, really, really, really important. Okay. And sorry, just before we go as well. There are large companies do hold these initiatives where they will have graduates come on site for a networking event. So, for instance, Black History Month every year in the UK, most large corporates will hold a Black History Month event. Some of them are quite big and very well organized. One I attended had Tim Campbell from The Apprentice. Yeah, he turned up, and there were lots of graduates that turned up there.
Wow.
And you know, they got to meet him, and he was a brilliant speech. He gave an absolutely amazing speech, such an engaging guy.
Beautiful.
And you know, you've got all these young people, they're just starting out. It was so I was inspired, right? As an old guy, I was inspired. And you had all these young people there, and I took their details, they took my details, said, hey, connect with me on LinkedIn. And I was just happy to see that they were there pushing themselves forward. So that's really important as well. So you have these things like Black History Month every year, go along, right? And just get involved, be part
What if
of
I'm
it.
not black?
And even if you're not black, it doesn't matter. That's just one. I mean, they have things like Black History Month, and they have Women's Day. And
So there's always an event.
there's always
for
an
something.
event, and there'll be, if you're really motivated and you're really switched on, you'd go online to some of these large companies like HSBC, Deutsche Bank, BlackRock, some of these companies, and just find out what's going on in their calendar, right? And get in contact, but be a bit pushy. You know, be a bit cheeky, be a bit, put your foot in the door and say, hey, can I come along to this thing? They like that. They like that from a young graduate.
Be audacious like David.
Yeah, be a bit audacious. Yeah.
I love it.
Yeah, employees would they would love that, because they can see that you have a bit of fire under you, and you're willing to motivate yourself. So yeah,
I love that.
Yeah.
I like that, guys. This is great. This is so great. You know what? So let's not be. Don't be afraid. Don't be in the comfort zone. Let's go out there. Let's do something, guys. Maurice has brought some great tips for us today to kind of open up our mind. I don't know where you are on your career journey. I don't know who you need to impart this information to, but let's be audacious. You know, when I think about the people didn't like David because you're so audacious. You know, he was like he's that guy, like he's there, he's ready. So let's be ready. Let's be ready. Let's go out there. Let's be the change that we want to see. Guys, the show is now coming to an end. All right, the show's now coming to an end, and it's been so good today, man. You know what? You've really blessed us today, Maurice. You know what? You've really opened up our thinking, brother.
It's always a pleasure to be here, guys. Always a pleasure, and hearing from other people as well. Hearing from other people's experiences is great.
Yeah. Drop it like a hot. All right. So what are you going to be doing next, Maurice?
What, after this?
like in general, like if people want to get in touch with you.
Oh yeah, sure. So you can reach out to me on My Money IQ. So I'm on TikTok, I'm on LinkedIn, I'm on Facebook, so I'm on Instagram. So feel free to reach out to me on LinkedIn. I'm more than happy to answer any of your questions, and give any advice that can be of help to you. So
fantastic.
Feel free.
We have Camille saying listening to all of these really good tips. Excellent. Also, we have Camille saying, can I ask a question? Covers letter. How does that work with your CV? Covering letters. We're gonna have to work on that later. Put it in the breakfast show broadcast, please. Okay, and then we'll definitely. Maurice is in there.
Can I just say something on cover letters?
Yeah.
Very quickly.
Yeah.
So cover letters, like most people are going to use AI, right? I know what people are like. They're going to use AI, but try and be as personable as possible, because when AI writes it and you go in the interview, you won't sound like the letter, because it was AI that wrote it. And the interviewers are not stupid. They can tell that this letter and you do not sound you don't sound the same. So that's just a little point that I want to put in there, just so perfect yourself in writing your own letters, so that it sounds like you and not like something else. Yeah.
All right. I hope that helps. Okay, guys, look, we're wrapping up now. It's been a great morning. I want to thank you, Maurice, for being with us today. God bless you.
Always a pleasure. Always a pleasure, guys. Never a chore.
All right, and guys, until next time, we'll be back tomorrow. We're gonna have a revisit, because I have a mission that I need to attend to tomorrow. So the show will be a revisit tomorrow, but we'll be back on Thursday with Relationship Power Thursday. If you've got any comments, anything, please send us a message on the email, producer@libertyradio.co.uk. It's just right there, down there. You can see it there, producer@libertyradio.co.uk, or just message me in the Breakfast Show broadcast, which is right here. Guys, let's be the change that we want to see. I wish you all a powerful and robust day, and until next time, ciao for now.
Fantastic.
God bless you. Actually, let me go into like open camera, like I think that's it. That one there. All right.
Ciao.
See you guys.
Ciao.
Ciao. God bless you. God bless you. God bless you. God bless you. The journal is our strength.
See you later. Bye.
Okay, guys, I really hope you enjoyed that show and you actually captured that breakfast show vim. We laugh, we joke, we learn, and we equip ourselves for day-to-day life. If you want to see more, guess what? We're actually live with a live chat and a live video feed Monday to Fridays on libertyradio.co.uk from 8 a.m. in the morning. So don't miss a breakfast show beat. Like and subscribe if you haven't, and definitely connect online. And I'd like to see you there on the show. Type your name in, communicate on the morning. If you didn't already, we're also on Instagram. Check us out on Official Liberty Radio on Instagram. There's so much happening on that platform. Definitely go check it out. And I'd love to see you there. All right, have a good one.